bloggers say. Hi, guys. This is your host, Samantha Starr, and you've tuned in to Flavor Fix on WNOV 860 106.5 FM. We got some exciting guests today. I'm so excited. Y'all happy? Y'all excited? It's Monday. It is Monday. So if you are not familiar with Flavor Fix, you can tune in on YouTube if you're listening, and look up WNOV 860. You can also watch live on Facebook at WNOV 860 as well. Feel free to call us. We want you all to chime in. We want our listeners to engage with our guests here. So call us at 414-444-5250. And we're going to get started. So I have Chef Campbell from Anomaly Catering, and I have Danielle Nabeck from University of Wisconsin-Madison, and then we'll have Truman McGee of Funky Fresh Spring Rolls, who will be joining us just momentarily. Chef Campbell, you want to kick us off with an introduction? Tell us about you, tell us about Anomaly and all the good things.
Okay, yeah, sure. I'm Anomalous Campbell. I go by Chef Campbell in the community. My husband and I are partners with Anomaly Catering. Anomaly Catering turns 5 this year, February 28th. So we're super excited about that and the history of that.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Oh, I see some spring rolls rolling in.
Uh-oh.
Hey, Truman.
Hey.
We just got started.
I didn't run the lights. I promise.
If you need to adjust the slide, you can.
I think I'm good.
Okay.
I guess need I say more? We've been serving in the community, like I said, for about 5 years now. We hit the ground running about 2019. I started off as a plant-based chef. Then I met my husband, and then we just created like a inclusive menu and just started offering a variety of different things. One thing that's really unique about our company is we don't offer menus because we have a really large client base. We kind of create with each and every last one of our customers the menus of their dreams. So that's pretty much it.
I love that. Thank you.
Yeah.
Danielle?
Hey everyone, my name's Danielle. As Samantha mentioned, I work for the University of Wisconsin-Madison in a county-based division here in Milwaukee County. I work for a program called FoodWise, and I work on policy and systems change to help make our food system a little bit better for more people. So that looks like a lot of different things. I'm really interested in working with local government. I'm interested in working with resident-led, neighborhood-led efforts. It gets me into a lot of really cool spaces, and I get to meet really cool people like Truman, like you. Congrats on 5 years, Chef
Thank
Campbell.
you.
I think I first became familiar with you maybe during the pandemic when you were doing some work with Tandem in some of their community meals. So I can't believe that was like so long ago already. So yeah, that's a little bit about me. I just finished my term on the Milwaukee Food Council Board of Directors, which I think is an organization that's poised to do some really cool work bringing folks together around our food system. And I'm also in school right now studying food systems. So I do a lot of food things.
Is that the fellowship?
Yeah, I'm a fellow at Johns Hopkins right now, hoping to finish that up this year.
Tell us about that. What does that look like?
Oh, it looks like a lot of schoolwork after I do my regular work every day. So I'm a fellow. I started, that was probably like a year and a half ago, June of 2022. I got a fellowship to study food systems at Hopkins, along with 50 other folks from across the country, studying various things that are connected to social determinants. So some of my classmates are studying adolescent health, violence prevention, substance use prevention, environmental health, really just bringing sort of a policy and intersectional lens to social determinants of health work across the country. And so it's been exciting. It's been really exciting to engage with folks, that are doing work in like 40 states I think we're in, and figuring out how I can be a tool in Milwaukee.
Nice. Well, we'll get more into that a little later. Truman.
Hey, y'all.
Thanks for joining us.
Absolutely. I'm sorry for being late. Everybody watching on YouTube.
You can adjust that.
I was on YouTube driving and watching. I got a mic stand, but I was watching it and I wasn't too far behind. But thankful to be here next to my fellow foodies. So My name is Truman McGee. I'm owner and head roll master of Funky Fresh Spring Rolls. They're non-traditional gourmet spring rolls made with fresh ingredients, never deep fried. Still haven't deep fried any of these to this day. But I know some people that have deep fried them, and I'm really disappointed in you, mom. Okay, I can't believe you would do that.
Mom.
But she said they were good still. So, anywho, just a quick background of Funky Fresh. It's been it'll be 11 years now.
Wow.
12 years as an entrepreneur, 11 years with Funky Fresh. I started off as a laid off construction worker, just trying to figure out my next phase in life, going through what I feel like as a man's midlife crisis when you start to go bald. And I lost my job. I got out of shape. All of the worst things. I had to move back with my mom. So I'm like, listen, I'm never gonna have a girlfriend again. My life is over. And some just hit me during that time. I'm like, we have just one life to live. And I just felt like I wasn't living in my purpose and my passion. When I was a kid, I loved to cook. I started cooking at 6 years old, making scrambled eggs, which I feel like all kids should. And it just kind of blossomed from there. And I always knew that I would be involved in food. I just didn't know how. I was scared. I didn't really know a lot of people who was in the food business or food industry. So around that time when I was laid off, I started working out, getting in shape, and I seen that the really fueled my workouts was the food, is what we eat. So I started just making like these massage kale salads and these sweet potato black bean burritos, and I was just having so much fun. Even though I wasn't making no money, I was staying in my parents' house, but I was having the most fun ever, like working out at the park, just being like truly free. And I said, you know what? I'm not gonna go back to my job. I'm gonna just keep doing this. I don't know where it's leading me to, but I just felt very strongly that this is what I was supposed to be doing in life. And literally, my dad is Mike McGee Sr., who was, at WNOV in the '90s. So this place is very familiar with me. And even though my dad was like all about social justice and being free and doing the things we want to do, he was really terrified of me being an entrepreneur. He was like, you should just get a job. And and really he just wanted his baby boy to do something safe or whatever. And I just felt like I enjoyed doing it. So I started I became a personal trainer and started selling healthy food to my clients. My clients say, you know what, I'm tired of your workouts, but I'm gonna keep buying your food. And that's how Funky Fresh just kind of blossomed. 2015 came up with the name Funky Fresh, which is like different, unique, funky, fresh ingredients. And from farmers market to festival to event, we just kind of kept growing. And now in 2024, this is weird even saying that. It's like we're the future, right? 2024. We used to have a restaurant. We don't have a restaurant anymore, but we got our product in some stores.
In some stores.
I mean, technically we out of stock right now, but we were in 150 stores. We're going through a packaging change and everything, but once we return, we're gonna be in about 500 stores. So from there, we're gonna keep growing, and hopefully, nope, scratch that. From there, we're gonna keep growing, and we will be in Found nationwide.
Okay.
Affirmation. Manifest.
Yeah.
Yes. You want to tell us a little bit more about kind of the history of Anomaly Catering and kind of, a little deeper into how you got started, where you got started, all those good things.
Okay. My name is Anomalous, so I named my baby Anomaly, which means a deviation from the rest, different. Because I'm an Aquarius also, so it just
Team
is in
Aquarius.
alignment with each other. I worked for NPS for 14 and a half years, and I ended up having my daughter about my 8th year with NPS, and I was always dropping her off, and she wanted me, I wanted her, and I was trying to figure out a way to be a parent. I didn't want to be stuck working all the time every summer with NPS. And so I took a leap of faith. I quit my job. I became a bartender. I started mixing up things. Then I became a mixologist. Then I became a bar manager. And then I was like, I like food. I went to this place called Core El Central looking for something for my daughter to do. They started teaching me about gardening and just laying in your soil and all of these different things. So that piqued my interest. I did some school stuff. I joined this group called the Healing Circle. And a lady named Angela Smith invited me to bring some food because I started posting videos on social media. At that time, it wasn't really popular. You wasn't getting paid for it. It was like cool to just post pics of your food and stuff like that. She seen it. She invited me to Healing Circle, and it was like it just took off from there. This person liked it, that person liked it. And it wasn't until one day, like a home-based cook at this time, I went to deliver some food to some people and they wouldn't pay me because I didn't have a W-9. And I was like, what's that?
Wow.
And so I started learning about business. I joined several different nonprofits throughout the community to start educating myself on how to be an entrepreneur and legalize my baby.
Nice.
Wow.
Tell us about that process. And you can chime in on this too, Truman. Just the process working in the food service industry, the permits, the certifications.
Mhm.
What does all that stuff look like for you all?
Yeah.
A headache.
So
A
yeah,
headache.
it's interesting, you know, like it's a lot of people making food, selling food, and me and Anomalous talk all the time. And really, it's not even about how good your food is, about how good you are at business. You know, you could have the best tasting mac and cheese in the world, but if you don't know the business end of it, the food safety end of it, it don't matter. So for me, I feel like I went through a business school course in live action with real money. And then, like, if you fail this course, you're homeless. So it was
Absolutely.
like, so that's kind of how I took it. But for me, I just reached out to as many people as possible to learn anything I could learn about. The sales permits. You gotta get a permit just to pay sales tax. You gotta get a permit for if you're in a shared kitchen. You got a permit for that. For if you doing a farmer's market, you need a temporary food license. So all the different licenses. You need temporary food license. You need food insurance or business insurance. There's so much paperwork behind it. And a lot of times people just don't know what they don't know, and they just say, "Hey, I just make sure this food tastes good." And like I said, that's the last thing. So for Funky Fresh, in 2014, I remember reaching out to the Gouda Girls. They were big on the food service, food truck scene. That was really helpful. And I just kind of, one of my favorite books is The Alchemist. And it's a quote in there that says, when you want to achieve something, all the universe conspires to help you. So I just believe at that time, the universe was like, this is what I wanted. And I got put in front of like good people. So in 2016, we got into this contest called Rev Up MKE, was like Shark Tank, local Shark Tank version, Milwaukee version, and we took second to Peach Pops. And literally to this day, Peach Pops he's on me about beating us, whatever. But Peach, if you listening, I'm coming for you, sucker. Okay. So, but that was like the best thing ever. Because I went in there too arrogant, like I got the best food, I got the best charisma, and nothing gonna beat me, and whatever. And Pete had a well laid out plan, or whatever. But anywho, second place, I ended up getting lined up with so many people from Marquette Innovation Lab, from UWM, Small Business Development, and from there, from person to person, I learned so much about just growing a business. So if you're out there listening, there's people out there. You just kind of got to be proactive and find what it takes to get to that level. Also, we got some food. I don't know. I know it's a big sign on this. No food or drinks.
We get an exception.
Can make an exception? I just wanted to talk real quick about this. So we got 2 different spring rolls. We got a new samosa spring roll, potato samosa spring roll, and we got a buffalo cauliflower spring roll. I wasn't sure if y'all have some plant-based players up here or y'all didn't eat meat, so I did that.
Okay.
So if y'all want to try that, I'm just put that on there.
I brought samosas.
You brought samosas too?
We having a samosa cook-off.
We got a live battle of the
We got a
chefs
versus
right now.
I love it.
I'm not judging.
And then we got I wanted to do this new series called Make It Work, where I go into people's house blind, not showing what they got, and just make a gourmet meal, whatever they got. Make this a good meal with their ingredients. So I said, let me just do a quick version to make it work out of my refrigerator. I do it literally every day to survive. I just made like a quick chicken salad or whatever. Just find stuff in the fridge. And I'm gonna pick a lucky winner today to be the first contestant that I go into their house if they want to.
So y'all listening, you gotta call us.
You gotta call in. You can be the first person ever to be on the first episode of Make It Work.
And tell us what inspired that. What inspired
being
that?
Poe. No, so sorry. It was crazy. It's like as a kid, you don't know that you. I feel like I wasn't poor though, honestly. Like my parent, like having two parents, I felt really privileged, honestly. And coming from 26 in Burleigh, where a lot of my friends didn't have a dad in the house, like they thought we were rich, you know. And my dad was an alderman, and I don't know how much aldermen's making in 1988 or whatever, but alderman with 11 kids, man, you can't be. It's a lot of mouths to feed or whatever. So mom would just make it work. Like whatever. Like I would look in the fridge like, Mom, we got nothing to eat. She's like, we got plenty of stuff to eat. I'm like, literally, there's nothing, and she will make a whole gourmet meal out of nothing or whatever. So she always like, you got to just make it work. So that's like a mantra for my life too. But also, I'm teaching my kids to be creative. This thing, you know, is things in there you got to just put together and you can figure out and make it work, just like life.
Right.
So, what was your family's like? I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
The questions, right?
No, we can.
What was your like go-to meal for your family when things were tough?
Probably some like sloppy joes.
Okay.
Big spaghetti pot, of course. That's like everybody.
I actually just had a taste for sloppy joe.
Yeah.
Recently.
Our family's was Hungarian spaghetti. It was like a variety of bell peppers, and then some thin spaghetti noodles and some gardenia peppers. And my Aunt Maggie would like put it all together with some soy sauce, and it was slapping.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's it. Baked potato, like everybody get a baked potato. You know, you think about it, it's like 50 cents a potato times 10 people. That's $5 or whatever. And we used to load it up with some cheese and sour cream and seasonings, whatever. So like. Mom will always make it work. So, you know,
shout out to the moms.
Shout out
to the moms. Man.
Yeah. And I think that show concept is great because it'll get people's creative juices, you know, going, especially for folks who live a fast-paced life.
Yes.
Like, what can I throw together really quick?
I started this at 4:15. So it's like I was done in 15 minutes. Done, you know, like we got food. It didn't. Granted, I'm in the restaurant business, food business, so of course I want people to buy my food. But also, there's food at home. A lot of times we spend way too much money on food. Yeah. We'll go grocery shopping and then still go out to eat after that. Like, dang, we just what? So, and it's it's being economically smart during these times. You never know. You know?
Did you tell us what was in the salad?
Oh, so it's like
what? So what did you have in your house?
I had like what? So this is brand called bar chicken, like the best chicken strips. They taste like Chick-fil-A chicken strips. So I had some of those, had some avocado. I made like a quick avocado ranch. Then I had like a pre-mixed like cabbage and lettuce pack with carrots in it. And I had a can of corn, drained those, and I seasoned it with like smoked paprika, cumin, garlic, onion powder, and salt. Just put it together. I mean, it's nothing fancy, simple, but you know, it's gonna feed us. If we got any forks, I don't know if we got none. But
we got.
Yeah.
Oh, you got some? Okay.
We want to pull out. You want to pull out some stuff for Truman?
Oh, we snap. We're gonna eat a whole flavor fix. Oh, this is
so samosas is one. Well, we started off. I was slanging baked potatoes in the bar, and then I went to the whole plant-based thing. But samosas was like one of my babies that I started bringing out, and people really like those. So since they put me on, I thought it be fit to bring those.
Yo, this is I'm so excited.
Battle of the samosas.
Listen, Anomalous got some of the best.
So I brought plant-based ones, and I bought vegetarian, and we're trying to partner with Compost Crusaders. So if somebody from Compost Crusaders is out there, hit me up. I'm trying to get with y'all.
I love it.
Can you say more about that?
Yo, if y'all
Compost
watching
Crusaders, from what I'm learning and hearing, it's a compost company.
Oh my God, look at this.
Let me see which one. Let me look. Those are plant-based ones.
So what's in the plant-based ones?
So they're both the same. What makes these plant-based is what the layer on the outside. It's made with chickpea flour on the outside of these. And then the other ones are vegetarian. Those are made with flour. So you're going to have more of a crunchier.
Like egg in there or something?
There's egg and flour in here. You're going to have more of a crunchier. And with this one, it's going to be a little more
Do we have
flaky.
any plates? Did you bring any plates? Okay. We want to make sure we keep it contained.
Listen,
What we got? Sauce?
Listen.
Uh-oh.
Some mulberry
Bebo.
sauce and some chimichurri.
Y'all be careful with
no,
the
not
sauce.
chimichurri. This is chutney. I'm
Don't put it
sorry.
in front of me.
Chutney.
Okay, I'm gonna spill it.
Yep, Danielle. Pressure's on. You got a
Keep
white
the
sweater.
keep the sauce along the edge, away from the.
Right from the
I'm not
mic.
even gonna play no games. I ain't messing with no sauce.
Right, we
Y'all
don't have to
wanna
open
do
the
it?
sauce.
I can't do it.
Listen, man, we got the sound guys about to eat in this mug too.
Oh man, I don't lost
Yeah.
track.
It
Smelling
smells
this
great in
this
here.
good food.
I request
So
every interview
this one-
I do, Anonymous has to be there. too.
This
You're
one
gonna
is
talk
sweeter.
about this? Okay.
Yeah, so this
Is
is a
that
mixture
scratch
of
made?
this
Okay.
is scratch made. And it's a mixture of berries. I can't give y'all all the tea.
Yeah.
But it's really sweet. They pair well together.
is
I
the-
actually
the
had
shell
a Indian friend when
I'm nervous.
was starting off my journey, and he got with me and
Uh-huh.
taught me a couple of things, and this was one of my favorite things that he taught me, and I kind of played with it and then added a little African American culture to it, and here we
Mhm.
are. This is what we came up with.
I
So this
love
one
it.
is more spicier. This one is sweet. I usually put them together when we're serving them at weddings. We kind of decorate the plate with both and lay the samosa in the center, but it's really like a preference thing.
Okay.
So yeah, you do want to be careful with that.
Yeah, we do.
Disclosure.
We can put the
I can't
caps
afford
on them
this
when we're not
Mac.
using them.
Okay, for the mic, so be careful, y'all.
Oh, I love this. I want to learn a little bit more about working in commercial kitchens and sharing spaces and what that looks like for you two, or what has it looked like in the past. And tell us a little bit about your team and the structure and all that good stuff. Either of you can start.
I'm gonna start with my team.
Okay.
Shared kitchens is a beautiful concept. It's amazing concept. It's definitely needed. It's not my cup of tea. I'm selfish in the kitchen. I'm working on that, y'all, but I like my space and my creativity. I love to share recipes and things like that, but I'm just a more tight-knit kitchen person. As far as my team goes, our catering company is really family oriented. My husband and I do, I want to say, 65% of everything. My baby sister chimes in. She's amazing. She's like the person that all the other staff member will go to. She keeps them in line. She gets their wardrobe together, all of the fine tuning things. She checks off all the checklists to make sure we have everything. And then from time to time, we only have a 4-person consecutive team that does a 25-person job. However, we do have a lot of friends and family that will jump in for us and kind of help us get situated. A lot of people in the community have came aboard on jobs, so I do strongly advise that you find your network of people or your people that support you, that's willing to help, but also people that are willing to take constructive criticism, that understand that this is your brand, this is your baby, and they're willing to listen to you and understand that when you have that chef hat on, that's just what it is. This is my chef hat. It's all love, but I need you to be in line. So at least that's how we operate. We have a non-toxic kitchen space, but a very firm and structured kitchen space.
Yep. So for our my commercial kitchen experience is I think of it as make it work. Like it isn't a long-term solution, and you shouldn't think of it like that. You got to think of it as I'm in this position right now. I'm gonna share a kitchen, and I'm gonna eventually move on from there. It could be tough. The concept is, like you said, is a beautiful concept, but it can be tough. A lot of people might have different like food safety practices, cleanliness, operational tactics. A lot of that comes into play. So I've been in a lot of commercial kitchens from even down the street. My first commercial kitchen I was ever in was in All Saints Church, 25th in Capitol. And luckily, the hours I operated, no one was in there. But then I also have operated in kitchens where it's packed with a lot of people, and it can be really challenging. So when I first moved into the Sherman Phoenix, me and Adija, we shared a space. And as much as I love Adija, it was tough times. Like our businesses is growing. Like we got crews. It was tight on space, so it was difficult times. Just operating around someone else, and they might have a catering, and we might have a catering, and trying to use the same equipment, and who's washing the dishes, who's mopping or whatever. So commercial kitchens are a great start and very necessary for people, but there should be a long-term plan in place for a business. I mean, just in general.
Mhm.
And then as far as our team, man, I've got blessed to have like one of the best teams that you could ask for from. And people always like, man, where do you find these people, whatever. And I'm like, yo, this is like when you want to achieve something, all the universe conspire to help you. And I feel like the universe has brought these great people in our lives from Bella, from Lupe, and all these people who. This is what I think of. I think of like entrepreneurship. I think of companies almost like college basketball, right? You're gonna get some people who's gonna come in and they might not have the skills, they might have pre-existing skills, but then as a coach, you're gonna help them elevate them skills, and then they're gonna bring value to the team and help you get a winning team. But then ultimately, they're gonna go off to the next phase in life. It could be 4 years, it could be a month, it could be 2 months, whatever. So only thing I always ask my employees was to bring the company value and let us bring you value. So now when you leave, we could both be, we could both grow from there. And our team did not like to leave. They stay. A lot of our employees stay like until the last day, and even still, they like, yo, when the next Funky Fresh thing opens, I'm right back there. So let me know. So I think part of that comes from as a leader having them, I call it drink the or eat the quinoa. Just like you say, drink the Kool-Aid, you got to eat the quinoa. You got to believe in the mission, and they would see that me as the leader, I would do any and everything. If I'm scrubbing the walls, I'm washing dishes, if I'm taking orders, if I'm taking the trash out, I'm gonna do every job that needs to get done. And if they see me do it, they believe in me. Almost similar to when I was like coaching wrestling. Um, I noticed a shift in my wrestlers whenever I told them, all right, we got to do sprints, but I'm sprinting too. All right, we got to do 100 push-ups. I'm doing it too. It hits different when you see the leader doing the same thing. It's like the excuses ain't there. It's like, man, if Trimmer doing it, well, I got to do it too. And they see how hard I went for it, so they just kind of they bought into it. So a lot of times people will say it's nobody wants to work or whatever. And I'm like, you got to kind of lead by example, and it's tough, but we ain't in the day and age either where you paying people $10 an hour. $10 an hour ain't making it no more. $12, in the food industry. So it's like we gotta, with inflation, unfortunately, we gotta get, pay better wages. But then you gotta get people to buy into the blueprint of the business.
How big was your team?
At a max, we had like 15 people.
Okay.
So we had we had a general manager, kitchen manager, assistant kitchen manager, a bunch of, we call them sales champions, which is cashiers. Funky Fresh Ninjas, which is like our cook staff. So we had 13 people, and it can be a lot too. As much as I love my Funky Fresh team, it's still tough. Like everybody's human. Everybody got life that be lifing. Right. And unfortunately in entrepreneurship world, if someone calls in and there's no one to back up, you guess what? You're the sales champ for the day. So I do plan, I'm saying it here first, get the first exclusive. We are working. Thank you. We are working on a concept to like franchise some Funky Fresh locations. So in the future, we definitely want to take our motto, franchise it, move from area to area, state to state, and bring Funky Fresh to the masses across the country too. That's my next goal.
Okay. Are the burgers coming back?
Funky Fresh burger.
Right. Can you tell us that inside?
So Funky Fresh was just a mess. Okay, that's what we did. We would introduce something great, and we just stop. Like the burgers, the Funky Fresh. So back in the day, 2014, when I was selling the mean green salads and sweet potato, black bean burritos, I was selling these burgers too. And people are like, man, these burgers are like the best turkey burgers ever. And it was just too much. It was a lot or whatever. So I kind of put it to the back burner. So I had this great idea in 2019. I said, hey, let's just start making burgers or whatever. And the burgers, I think the burgers might have their own life, maybe just as popular as the spring rolls. This is a lot of work,
right?
And I was like, I want to bring something that I can execute at a high level. But the burgers, actually, I just made a burger yesterday. I made a video about the burger. I'll post it later. But the burgers, Funky Fresh burgers with their own life. We also had our pizzas, our cauliflower crusted pizzas. We did the tacos. We have a whole, it's more than just rolls. Like I'm a cook, I'm a chef, so I enjoy bringing other things to the menu.
Tell us about your team from a catering side.
They are 10 toes down. My team is everything.
You might have to get a little closer.
Oh man, my team they make me emotional. Like they are so in support of what I'm doing. My husband is my punching bag.
Who's here today?
He is. Shout out to Chef Campbell.
Yo, shout out to Chef Campbell, man. Let me say, they goes for me. I was like, my man who rides for his woman,
Chef
no matter
Campbell.
what. I love it. Y'all are a shining example that people can work together and be married. You know,
It's
so.
definitely magic in the kitchen. It's not easy. We disagree on things, but we understand that we have to put out what's best for the client. Our team is big energy in the kitchen, like mad energy. We all have this belief system that you cannot cook upset, you cannot cook angry, you cannot cook mad. So whatever we have to do, and I do mean whatever, we do it to get everybody feeling the love that day. So, if one person is down and feeling bad, we have this rule. You got 5 minutes to feel how you feel, and then you got to shake it off and let's go. So we give each other grace and we hold each other down, but we definitely hold each other accountable. So I shout out to my team, especially my baby sister. Like, I just love how she nurtures me and caters for me in the midst of being in the kitchen and being in action. I couldn't thank her enough for that.
I love it.
Yeah.
Yes. How many people usually, I guess, and it depends on the size of a catering,
Yeah.
but like maybe go into a little bit about what that looks like.
So on a regular is Chef and I, then it's Chef and I and my sister. But when we have like weddings, major events, anything over 50 people, we have just a group of people that we can count on a regular. We'll kind of try to let them know in advance, and they're always willing to help. Also, because I'll say we're vetted, I'll call us that, since we hit 5 years this year, since we're kind of vetted, a lot of people want to intern with us. But I learned something from someone in the community about internships and how they have a life too, and they need to live. So even our interns, when they come on board, they're paid. And so people, I guess, trying to find staff to be in the kitchen and on the line is super easy. Trying to find a cleanup crew and a crew to like carry all the things, that's really hard. But I mean, again, we love and support each other. So we've gotten up to probably about 10 or 15 at one time, because we did do like a large wedding before. But for the most part, dedicated always is 3 of us that hold down like a 20-person operation.
Nice. Comparable between you two.
Mm-hmm.
And 2 different entities that are still pretty comparable in staff side. And we're going to come back. We're going to go on a quick break. We will be back on Flavor Fix on WNOV 860.
What's your flavor?
Now, back to Flavor Fix with your host, Samantha Starr on 860 AM and 106.5 FM.
I like that.
We moving on.
I like that.
up.
We moving on up. I'm official. I'm official. I'm official. We are back at Flavor Fix at WNOV. I have Chef Campbell here. I have Danielle Naback, Truman McGee. We've been talking all things food and their journey so far, and we have we were just before break talking a little bit about their staff and their team and how their individual systems work when serving you lovely folks listening today. And just a reminder, feel free to call us and chime in at 414-444-5250. I want to talk to Danielle a little bit, and I want to learn a little bit more of how you got into the food systems and policy side and what inspired you to get into that, I guess, career path.
Well, I thought I wanted to be a nurse at first when I first went to school, and quickly realized that there was a lot of science and math involved in becoming a nurse. And I
It is.
quickly realized that that was not for me.
That's why I changed from architecture.
So I had to take a nutrition class as part of some prerequisites for a nursing program, and just really ended up enjoying learning about food. You know, I grew up in a household where my mom cooked every meal for us. Shout out to moms if she's listening.
Hi, Mom.
So yeah, I just, really kind of taking classes about food and nutrition, and then thinking it back on my experience with food, and getting some confidence to try new things. I used to be a really picky eater when I was younger, but yeah, just learning about food in a different way gave me a new perspective and encouraged me to explore that as a career. And so I became a dietitian. I worked in clinical care for a little while, which is a lot of counseling and nutrition education with patients. And it was really hard for me because it felt like way too far down the road to help make change that was really meaningful in a big way. Oftentimes, if you work in a hospital setting, you're seeing a patient for 5 minutes when they're on their way out the door. And they might be in there for a heart attack, or they might be in there for a knee replacement due to, being overweight. And so having 5 minutes with that patient to talk about their eating choices is not, for me, it didn't do it for me. I wanted to feel like I was having more of a connection with folks. And I also wanted to think about, how do we make change on a larger scale? And so that's what got me thinking about policy. I had the opportunity to intern for the department of the USDA that makes the dietary guidelines for Americans. And I was there for a really short time, but what I took from that experience was just the potential that policy can have. I mean, that office is in charge of making recommendations for the entire population of the United States. And that's such a huge opportunity to influence the choices that people make about their food. So that's what really got me thinking about food systems and food policy. And I've learned a lot since then about the adequacy, or maybe inadequacy sometimes, of food policy. And I'm really hopeful about the opportunity to impact a lot of people at one time. With one policy change, you can influence a lot of people. But I also am really conscious of that as a weapon, and when that doesn't work the way that we hope it does. And so, yeah, that's kind of the space that I'm living in right now, is how can we influence policy or systems change, whether that's at a local level here in Milwaukee. We're so close to the people that make our decisions, or at a state or federal level, it gets a little bit harder. But that's kind of what got me into this space.
Nice. Can you tell us a little bit about, I guess, one challenge and one opportunity that Milwaukee faces around sustainability? Anything come to mind?
What do you think about when you think about food and sustainability? I'm curious what and Chef Campbell and Truman, you can chime in too, but what does sustainability mean in the food space to you?
My first thought is maybe not around sustainability, but like food waste.
Or food apartheid.
That's what I was thinking.
Like, working in the food manufacturing space now, I see how much food goes to waste. Is like mind blowing. I can't even verbally say how much food goes to waste. That we have a hunger problem around the country, but then like the amount of food that goes to waste, I've seen it with my own eyes. Like tons of food just get thrown away because they can't give it away because of legislation. I can't even say the word. Whatever
Legislation.
legislations and stuff. And I know in different countries is different. Have different rules around that, but I mean, like for example, we had a product that went out of date, and it was a frozen product, and if it's frozen, a lot of times it could last up to a year plus, and our product was only like 9 months old. And instead of like being able to take it and throw it away, or take it and like donate it, we had to like throw it away, and it was like thousands of rolls, or whatever. So it's like it's really tough and it's frustrating to be like Of course, me wanting to be Batman, I'm like I'm gonna just take them all myself, give them out myself,
Yeah.
But it's like then you liable for
Right.
to get in trouble because of that. So that's the type of stuff you work on.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I asked, I'm really curious to hear what people think of when they think about sustainability because it's so many things. You're talking about food waste. I heard you talk about food apartheid. There's also things around protecting our land and our natural resources that are involved in food sustainability. There's composting. You mentioned compost crusaders. So there's a lot. I think what I have been excited about working on here in Milwaukee is connecting more to our regional supply chain, our regional food supply chains. We have such fertile land for growing here. We can't grow all year round for the most part unless we're doing it hydroponically, which also has some promise. But in our growing season, when we can grow outdoors, we can grow so much here, and there's just a real opportunity to bring more of that into our local supply chains, in our school meals, in our restaurants, in catering, in the grocery store. So I think that's a huge opportunity. It's also, though, the challenge because to buy at an economy of scale that works for both the farmer, the producer, and the consumer is really, really tough because oftentimes places like a small business or an independent grocer can't buy at the scale of a larger big box store. And so those farmers get priced out of market, and it's just sort of a vicious cycle. So I think that's both an opportunity and a challenge, is figuring out how do we really localize our food systems and be able to keep our dollars in our communities,
Do you know of anyone doing it well, kind of setting a bar here at all? Or
I'm
no?
gonna let these people talk right next to me. Do y'all utilize local foods in your business?
Oh yeah, like from seasonings, from cheeses,
Salmon.
veggies, like during the certain times though. So at first, Funky Fresh, like we were like the farmers market. I would be at the farmers market selling spring rolls, and then go shopping at the farmers market for my batch for next week. But now it gets to a certain point where it's like, all right, I need more kale, I need more peppers, whatever. So we go to our food distributors to get them. But for the most part, we use local when possible.
Yeah, I love that. Can you talk a little bit about labeling and the
Such a can of worms.
I know the transparency around that and the education of it, folks, reading labels and understanding what they're consuming. What does that look like?
Food labeling is a lot.
I know.
It's really different in every single country. So I'll talk a little bit about some other countries, but focus mostly on here in the US. So when I think about food labeling, it's more than just a nutrition facts label. There's usually a nutrition facts label, which has the nutrients and the amount that a typical person, according to the USDA, the amount of that nutrient that a person needs on a daily basis. And then there's usually also a serving size and the amount of servings per package. That's all on the nutrient label. Then there's usually an ingredient list. There's usually some allergen information. There's a best by date or a sell by date, which is very confusing for people.
We can dive into that.
Yes, so we can dive into that more too. And then there are sometimes optional things that people can include, like low sodium or heart healthy, or more like nutrition claims. And so the list of things that are regulated by the FDA, the people who kind of make choices about what goes on labels, the list of things that are regulated is very confusing and it's not very consistent across claims. And so to really understand that, I mean, you damn near need to have a degree to just understand what is regulated on those labels. But for me, I think about a couple of things. One, I think about, like you talked about, what do you need to know to be able to interpret that label?
Right.
If you're reading a label and you see that something has 30 grams of added sugar, what does that mean to you? Can you visualize what 30 grams of added sugar is? Do you know how much sugar you eat on a daily basis? That could be a really tiny amount or that could be a really large amount, you know? So being able to interpret that label, I think that's where food literacy and nutrition education come in. I think that there's also a need to develop critical thinking, particularly in our young people, but in everybody, to be honest. But I think that's also where some critical thinking comes in around thinking about what did I eat in a day or what did I eat in a week and how do I balance this? What's right for my body? How does my body feel? So kind of combining a little bit of that food literacy with critical thinking around, okay, if I had a really high sodium day today, maybe tomorrow I can take it easy and cut back on some of those high sodium foods.
Mm-hmm.
So this is interesting because literally I'm in a thread right now as we speak about
Really?
our food labeling at Funky Fresh, and it's so interesting. I feel like I'm I'm just gonna call myself a food scientist at this point because I've learned so much about the labeling and all that. So where we're at is we're trying to get into more like stores like the Whole Foods, the Sprouts, and the stores that the all natural type of stores, and they have like a forbidden list of things that you could put in your food. So of course, no high fructose, no MSG, no bleached anything, no food coloring or whatever. So this next phase of Funky Fresh, we've tried to make these the most healthiest premium quality ingredients, and we have to go through this process through the USDA, and they have to approve everything. And like last year, this is interesting. We got a sweet potato black bean roll, which people know is vegan. It's sweet potatoes, black beans, garlic powder, onion powder, sea salt. I can get her whole recipe out, whatever. But for whatever reason, we forgot, and I'm gonna just take responsibility for it, even though I didn't type it. Someone added milk as an allergen to that product, and there's no milk in it at all, no milk byproducts, whatever. And we have, I'm gonna cry when I say this. We have printed 50,000 of these pouches that got milk on it, right? And it's like we have to recall. We got to do an internal recall and take them all off the shelf or whatever. Oh, so it's like, and I'm like, I don't know how I missed this or whatever, but like we got customers who's like, hey, does this actually have milk on it? Because it says it's vegan on the front or whatever. So like, it's like essentially you're playing with food, you're playing with people's health. So it's very important for food companies to be conscious of things, and like people can have a milk allergy, it could turn really bad or whatever. So and learning about what it is, something that's been a hot topic is bioengineered ingredients. So recently it was like some legislation that said you got to label if it's anything that's bioengineered. You might know what a bioengineering ingredient is. Everything.
Most things, yes. Most things.
Everything. So like, and it's crazy enough, I feel like Funky Fresh was the first company that had to put it on their package. I'm like, what? I'm like, what is a bioengineered? Any type of oil that's been like corn,
soy,
anything, and corn and soy is in almost everything. So we had to put bio, and I felt like, dang, people gonna feel like, oh, Funky Fresh, what is bioengineered? It's like big bold letters too, but that's part of what it is, and I guess rightfully so. Like even if you even go to like certain places in California, their labeling is even different.
Yeah, that's
like,
certain everywhere in California.
Yeah, I got a pack of seaweed strips or whatever, and it was like Proposition 69 can cause
cancer,
and like
potential carcinogens.
Yeah, you like what? Oh my, it's scary to
California
see that.
Don't play.
It's like look at that. It's like the whole cigarette pack thing. Like you got, so it make you, is it important? I think it's important, but I think also in school, like I feel like no shade to any school makers that's listening, but it's a couple classes that could get the boot in exchange for nutrition, because we all deal with nutrition and we are so uneducated about it. We figure out on our own. Then you go out there, I guess you had the argument of like, what do your parents teach you versus what are you supposed to learn in school?
Mhm.
And if your parents don't know, how are the kids are going to know? So I feel like,
Right.
I don't know.
And the other thing is, to truly read labels at the grocery store, it takes so long. I don't know if you guys read labels at the grocery
Who
store,
has
but
4 hours to
exactly,
spend in the
right?
grocery
Especially
store?
like if you're with your 4 kids, you're
Yeah.
trying to get home and make dinner. To really make informed choices at the grocery store is so time consuming.
Mhm.
And that a couple of other countries have been sort of trying out putting some labels on the front of packages that are really around like excessive sodium, excessive
Mhm.
fat, and excessive sugar. And it's similar to what you mentioned, the cigarette labels, but it's like a warning. This product exceeds the recommended amount of sodium by so much percent. And so it's like this really big sort of banner on the front of the package, and it's mandated by legislation that products have to have this. And so there's some interesting research now that policy has been in effect for a couple of years in a couple of different countries, that it is affecting food choices, that people are buying those products less. So people are trying things in different countries. California is doing it in their state. So I think that's just a good example too of where sometimes federal legislation is a little bit more lenient. States and cities can make different choices, but then you got to think about the supply chain and who has products that are going into California supply chains, because we have a global supply chain. So then anyone who wants to sell their product in California probably has to abide by that legislation. So it's big. Policy is huge.
Have you ever heard of the Yuka app?
For the color system.
Yuka app?
Is it
Yuka.
the stoplight
Yeah.
system? Like, I like the stoplight system.
So
What's the stoplight system?
Yuka app is, don't get it. I'm just saying it's gonna ruin your life.
I
I'm saying, but you can like scan all
Products.
of the
Yeah.
products or
Oh,
whatever,
I see.
and they give them a rating if it's like, but like everything is to a 2,000
Right.
calorie
diet.
diet. So
Mm.
I don't know how did
Which
they
has
come
also
up?
mostly only been studied on white people. So
Yeah.
it's
So some stuff might be too high or whatever. Like I did Funky Fresh, and like
Mhm.
one of our rolls, like most of the rolls are good except for the buffalo because I put it originally, it had MSG in it. So MSG is like a red flag. It's like it gives it a negative rating. But then I was just listening to something that said MSG ain't bad for you.
yeah, there's new research that has been coming out that they don't think it's as bad as they initially thought.
Yeah. So like MSG is just like they say it's like the fifth flavor, like umami. It's like you got
Mhm.
sweet, salty.
It's the
Sour.
same as accent, right?
Yeah. So in accent.
In
yeah.
accent.
Oh,
So
yeah.
yeah.
So MSG was like it was created by some Asian doctors and I guess is that I can't even describe it, but just Google the history of MSG. It's really interesting.
Yeah. My dad taught it to us. Like, he told us very little to stay away from it. It's it tenderizes meat is what he says, and he goes, if it's tenderizing meat, what do you think it's doing to your organs? And so that's how we learned not to like it. And then the color system is when you have like a stoplight, it's like red means no, don't eat this, yellow means slow down, that kind of thing.
Gotcha.
Which, to that point, I mean, those types of interventions can also be done just in a grocery store. So it doesn't have to necessarily be food labeling. You can do that in a grocery store on the, like where the prices are listed on the shelving, or you can put healthier food items near the checkout aisle to encourage, people are grabbing a candy bar and a soda as they're checking out because they're really hungry and they need something. You can replace those food items with something that's green, something that's a little bit healthier. So you can make those you can try to influence people's behavior in ways that don't require, us passing a policy change to how our food is labeled.
I want to dive into that sell by, best buy, use by, eat by, because some people will push it to the limit.
Yeah.
And what's the limit? What does that look like?
So I know with frozen food,
yeah.
You could, for most companies, whenever, for example, if the sell by date is 12/5/2024, it was produced on that same day a year ago for most companies.
Okay.
And frozen food could last up to, I think, I've heard years. You could preserve. I mean, that's how they originally preserve food.
Right.
So for frozen food, you could probably push it for like dairy and stuff like that. I don't even drink milk, so I don't even know.
Mm-hmm.
I just go to like the
smell test. That's real.
Smell test for me, but for most like if you're talking about like food that we make now, like they say, 7 days for certain stuff, but everything is different. It depends
I
on
know.
what you
Yeah.
cook. Everything has different life. You could have a red pepper in your fridge
I was gonna say, let's
for
talk about
2
produce
weeks.
because that's a big one.
Yeah, you have a red pepper in your fridge or broccoli for weeks, but once you cut it, that's when the life starts to die from that moment. So it deteriorates a little
Now,
quicker.
is there a way for proper storage to expand that extend that
Yeah.
lifespan?
Absolutely.
Can you talk a little bit about properly storing fresh vegetables? And like I've learned a lot recently. I've been storing like my parsley and cilantro differently,
In
and
cold water in a
yeah,
mason jar towards the back of the refrigerator, as long as your refrigerator is at a certain temperature, because closer to the back of the refrigerator means it's its coldest point, so it
Mhm.
can freeze certain things also.
okay,
That's why they usually keep all the fruits and vegetables lower at the bottom, because it keeps them crisp. But
Mhm.
keeping them crisp does not mean they'll last as long.
right.
Netted bags for certain fruits and vegetables. Most of your like avocados or apples or stuff like that, if you cut them, you can cut your avocados, put them in a really big mason jar with water and seal it towards the back of the refrigerator. They'll last and they won't get as brown. Or you can rub a key lime or a regular lime across the front of your avocado. It'll make it last a little longer, but just keeping it whole, it'll go to waste. We don't want fruit flies in our home, so that's why most of us naturally just throw everything in the refrigerator. But putting a lot of your different vegetables and fruits in the refrigerator also ruins them because of the moisture. So
Mhm.
if you see it in a grocery store and it's not in the refrigerator, naturally it shouldn't go
Don't
in the
put it, yeah.
refrigerator.
True.
But that's usually why in homes we do, because we want to prevent pests.
Like onions,
Yeah.
Mhm.
you can't put an onion in the fridge. It'll get moldy really quick.
Mhm.
And I don't know why I didn't know that until like a year ago, but
Yeah.
I
what
didn't
do you do with a
either.
cut onion then?
Yeah.
Cut onion, you put it in the fridge. You don't leave it out because then it's really interesting.
Right, but when you cut open a red onion, it goes through this type of deoxifying process or something, which is actually poisonous.
Mm-hmm.
So you really don't want to, when you cut open a red onion, you should kind of use it right away.
Mm-hmm.
But like a sweet one, Vidalia or yellow or whatever, you can just wrap it in some saran wrap and it'll last for quite some time.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
So I got some food controversy I want to get off my chest.
Let's
Uh
go.
Uh-oh.
I'm
We're gonna
listening.
get right into it, okay? Or we be like, yo, we gonna eat some yams, whatever. Nope. Those are sweet potatoes.
Those are sweet potatoes.
People be like, yams. Yams are like from Africa. They white.
Right.
They're white on the
inside.
inside.
Right.
You can tell by
People
the
be like,
color.
no, it's sweet potatoes.
sweet
It ain't candy
potatoes.
yams. It's candy sweet potatoes.
We don't
I'm
have
saying it.
yams here, y'all.
You know. So
That's why we here. Educate the people.
all right, this is another one that is gonna make a lot of
Drives
people
you
mad about washing chicken.
Uh oh.
I see this debate all the time. I see chefs talk about it about washing chicken.
Wash your chicken,
You know?
people.
So this is a question: do you wash for the people? So do you wash your chicken? Do you wash your ground meat? Do you wash ground chicken too? Do you wash ground beef? Do you wash? So that's interesting. Where you guys at on that?
We're taught in culinary education you should not wash your chicken, and that is because it contaminates everything. I look at it like the black toothpaste. If you ever brush your teeth with black toothpaste, you'll notice that you have splatter everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Versus when the natural Colgate or whatever it is that you use, you can't see all of your splatter. Chicken is just like that. As soon as you open that package, you've contaminated your counter when just bringing it home from the grocery store. But once you open it and it touches the surface, most people think, oh my God, it's a germ right here. It's staying right here. Germs don't act like that. As soon as a germ hits the surface, it locks onto something or whatever and it starts to grow. So when you wash it, the water's splashing. Now you hit your dishes. If you have dishes drying off in the side over there, it's on the back. Everything is now contaminated with this. And so what do we do in our culture? We grab some bleach and we think it's all, but I can't think of the name of the movie. Can you remember? It's an experiment about some twins and they're working on their diet and trying to tell
On
the difference
Netflix?
between
Okay, yeah.
a plant-based diet versus a regular diet with twins. But anyway, he put this like white powder on the chicken and he didn't tell them while they were cooking. And when they got through, he came in with a black light. And when I tell you the amount of bacteria that was all over the kitchen. So from a culinary standpoint, no, you are not supposed to clean your chicken. What we've been taught growing up is you grab yourself a lime and a little vinegar and you put it in the water, and then you scrub the ins and outs of that chicken, and it's supposed to help you feel a whole lot better about what you're doing with your food. Do we wash our chicken? Yeah. No, we don't rinse off the ground beef and whatnot. But we do strain it after cooking. So I don't know. I guess it's like
it's a hot
personal
topic.
preference
Yeah.
situation.
It's a very
But you
hot
want to
topic.
clean the feathers off of, like, who wants to receive some
Yeah.
catering food and there's feathers all on the meat and all the different things. Once food gets to a certain temperature anyway, the bacteria and whatnot is gone. So
I call it like proper preparation. Whatever the job calls for, that's what you got to do. So
yeah.
But yeah, do you wash your chicken?
And if you're not washing chicken,
do.
I advise that you not get on air and tell the whole community that you're not washing your chicken. You're not going to have any customers.
I mean, I'm not saying
I
I
wash
do.
mine.
I'm not saying I do, but I see. I see these hot topics all the time. So I
Mhm.
had a couple of hot topic thoughts that was in my head.
But it's good to
No,
know.
that is
it's
great.
really good to know, because now it's like, do I wash it now? Do I keep washing? Do I not?
No, you
Like,
could. This is what I do. Same thing. You gotta be conscious of it. So
Conscious,
you
yeah.
know that if
Mhm.
it's splashed, so we getting the whole case of chicken, right? So
Mhm.
we're cutting. A lot of times the chicken breast, you got to trim in half or whatever.
Mhm.
Use a little lime, use a little water, or whatever. But I feel like the way we were taught to wash chicken, where we put it in the sink and then we just turn water
Turn the
on,
water
and
on.
splashing.
No.
Yeah.
That ideal is horrible. Like
It
you
The
is.
wanna-
idea of washing anything in the sink to me is like, what are we
I've
doing?
seen people
However,
prep.
in a commercial kitchen, it's different. We
Yeah.
have designated sinks
Right.
specifically for
No.
fruits and
Yeah,
vegetables.
but at home,
But at home,
like,
get a colander,
the-
strainer.
the-
whatever.
Yeah.
if you went into a lot of people's homes, like if a health inspector went into people's homes, we all get these
Yeah.
C's of these, whatever. I mean, from storing eggs, storing open, containers, rotating, like first in, first out, rotating stuff.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that's good too, because that could prevent a lot of food poisoning.
Don't
You
put
know?
your greens in the bathtub, people.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh
my.
my God. Yeah.
Don't do that. Well, I want to talk a little bit about these samples real quick. Did we talk about how we like them? Did we share that?
I don't think so.
I mean, they're all good. Like
They are.
my
They
eyes-
is so good.
I haven't got to try anything yet, but I've had
I had the
sweet potato
plant-based
black bean
samosa.
is my jam. I will just go crazy.
Yeah.
Who knows?
We learned while we were on break that these samosas are baked,
Our samosas
Yeah.
are baked, are plant
and they are so crispy. You would think that they were just
they golden
deep
brown.
fried, and that's really good to know.
So I got samosas. Anomalous got samosas. Let's talk about. We got to give the recipe out. But
Okay.
what's in your samosa? Okay, how about this? Let's see. I don't know if you tried mine, but I was trying to guess because they
The
taste different.
ingredients, they do
Mhm.
taste.
I tasted. Is it coriander? Is that in there?
In mine,
Yeah.
there's a little coriander in there. There's some fennel seeds in there. Potatoes and peas, of course. The plant-based ones have chickpea flour, water. With our flour, we do this kind of like stacking system to make it crispy, and then we use grapeseed, a high refined heat grapeseed oil. So how some people egg wash things, we do a slurry of the chickpea flour and the grapeseed oil, and we kind of baste the outside of it. So that's all I'm gonna give you.
I know. I was like,
Um,
how deep she gonna go?
Let me tell you something.
there's a splat of curry and turmeric in there.
Okay.
This is
but
what I
yeah,
learned
I
about.
taste a
just
little
a
bit.
splat.
This is
Yeah.
what I learned about recipes. Like when I was a kid, my mom would make scrambled eggs taste amazing, and I would watch her, and I would put the same ingredients and my scrambled eggs, and it'll taste completely different. I'm like,
Yeah, it's in the hands, it's in the heart, it's
The
in
love.
the love.
The love,
It's,
like people be like, you ain't, because I give away so many recipes. I'm not like, at the end of the
No.
day, for me, love is a recipe you can't duplicate.
yeah.
Right.
You know, so I'm gonna always have that, and I don't mind giving out recipes or whatever. So that, and even, I mean, I've had people that work for me, like at least 2 people work for me, quit and try to start their own Funky Fresh, and fell really miserably because it's more than meets the eye. You know, people see Truman, a goofy guy, the high butt crack, laughing and dancing on Instagram, and they like, this goofball, I could do the same thing. No, like,
Yeah, no.
I'm like a Kobe Bryant, man. I'm like determined and I'm motivated to get this done. Like, I'm deeply driven about and passionate too.
Mhm.
I'm crying. I'm calling up the stairs. My husband's carrying me. Everybody in the house is a this and a that. And I'm mad and I'm angry because in the kitchen, I got to have so much love. But this stuff is hard work. It's not just about cooking.
Yeah.
It's all the things. It's your mental health. It's lifing. It's your passion being taken for granted and people coming around you absorbing information with their own motives. Like, it makes you feel, for me personally, it makes me feel some type of way. I do though, however, I have a booklet with our recipes to pass down to my kiddos and stuff like that for if they're ever interested. But some of my babies I do hold near and dear to heart, and it's just because you can go anywhere all over the city and get all kind of different samosas, but like my special recipe is something that I want to give to my children. So I hold my cornbread, my fish batter, our macaroni and cheese sauce, certain things. It's just, this is a Campbell's staple. How I feel about what's our favorite people that did the caramel cakes? McCoy's. It's like how I feel about McCoy's. They're out of the business and still nobody knows how to make a McCoy
Mhm.
cake.
Mhm.
So I guess that's what it is for me.
Yeah. I feel that way, but I also feel like I have a different approach.
Yeah.
And we've talked about, we literally
time.
just talked about this.
I'm always been, how do I grow up to be like you, Truman?
Like,
Because I'm not there
Yo,
yet.
we
I'm
talking,
like,
but listen,
no,
you
this
need
is
people
mine.
Yeah.
that you could talk to in this business, because
Yeah.
people you could trust too,
Right.
because it's no reason to go through this alone when there's people who going through the same thing as well.
Mhm.
So for me, I mean, I just, okay, I'm gonna get a little emotional, but it is what it is. Like, we got our day, right? We got our Facebook day. That's what I call it. When people wake up and say, "Oh my God, Truman's dead" or whatever, like, I can't believe it. You know, it's for sure gonna happen. So for me, I just want to leave life on empty. I don't want to take nothing with me. I want it. Any ideal I have, I'm trying to get it out, because I know it's a day where I won't have anymore. So it's like, for recipes, for ideas, for energy, like, I know a lot of it is abundant. You know, it's more. It's always, I know in our questions usually ask like, what recipes you're excited about and stuff like that.
Mhm.
Like, it's always more to learn. There's always more to
Mhm.
give. And for me, I want to give, and I want to receive as well. So I'm just constantly trying to learn more, trying to give and get. Is that the same thing? Give and give and get. Yeah.
I love that. I love it. So it is Black History Month.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Shout out. I
Shout
mean,
out
Black
to
History
Yes,
Year.
it
Black
is.
History 365.
Yeah.
Are we you need to go to break? Do we need to go to break? Okay. All right. So I want to get some hidden gems and some of the are you really see?
Wow. And on that note,
On that note, we will be back talking Black history.
What's your flavor?
a black restaurateur.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting we over here because my parents, and I don't know if it's my parents' restaurant or this. I have no clue. I remember being there. There's a place called the Crossroads that was
Mm.
right up the street, like on 20th and it was just like a couple blocks or whatever.
Okay.
So that's my first like experience being in a restaurant, and I just remember like Perkins being like an
Yep.
iconic staple
Mr. Perkins.
in
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
Milwaukee. This is right over here
Mhm.
too, and I gotta give a shout out to my mother. My mother had a catering business called As You Wish Catering. She would do, she'd take care of the kids all year long, and in the summertime, when she was an NPS teacher too, and she would cater weddings and everything, and that's where I got my first real um, ideal of food is bigger than food. Food is like a connecting piece. Food is
Mhm.
that inanimate object that we communicate around through. If it's a wedding, if it's a funeral, if it's a first date, if it's a divorce party, is whatever it is, food is always in there. And the better the food, the better the event too. I always noticed
Right.
that if the event had good music, good DJ, but the food was horrible, if it was alright, But the say the DJ wasn't good, but the food was bad, like that's some good ass, whatever. And sorry, FCC. Food is so important in that. So I think about my mom all the time in that aspect. So those are just a few that come to mind right away.
Nice.
What about you? What's some of your favorite black-owned restaurants or memories?
Like staples. Speed Queen growing up.
Speed Queen, absolutely.
My dad bought me barbecue all the time and lobster.
Yeah, lobster at Speed Queen.
No, I'm just
Oh.
saying in general.
Yeah.
And so one of the things that I asked for all the time, I want to go to Speed Queeks. I said Speed Queeks when I was little.
Yo, do you
I wanna
remember
go to
Speed
Speed
Queen had the piece of white bread that was soaked in the barbecue sauce?
Oh yeah, that's the
No.
best.
That was the best thing ever.
That was the best.
So not a restaurateur or a chef, but I have to shout out Mo Wentz, who is the owner of Sherman Park Grocery. I don't know if
Yes.
y'all have visited, but I hope you can get him on the show because his charisma is incredible. But Mo opened Sherman Park Grocery about two years ago now, I think, and it has, I think, really transformed that part of Fond du Lac that he's on.
Yeah.
He's connecting with those residents and those kids every day in that store, encouraging them to make healthy food choices. And, is him and his wife Yashika, they're transforming that whole commercial corridor right there. And they're doing it with an emphasis on healthy food in Sherman Park Grocery. So I just want to give him a shout out too.
No, I appreciate
Nice.
that. Yeah. I appreciate. So I want to ask, how do you think African and African American, I guess, culinary heritage has influenced culinary trends today?
I feel like,
We started this.
we are so creative that we come up with
Right.
some amazing things. I'd be looking at all these, like, for example, what's the popular thing right now? The damn
Bodine,
the
Bodine balls.
the Bodine balls.
Bodini balls.
I mean, I even look at the In and Out got this thing where they use the onions
oh, the onion burger.
onions as the
reverse
bun or
onion,
whatever.
yeah.
I'm like, man, listen, back in the day, we make
We been
anything
doing
out of a
that.
sandwich. Like,
Yeah.
it don't matter what it is. Like, okay, we ain't got no bread. All right, let's use this instead. or whatever.
Spaghetti sandwiches.
Spaghetti sandwiches. I had, like, my daughter to this day, like, she's 5. She's never grew up in no poverty. Like, what she want a mayo sandwich for? Like, Lola, what are you doing? She go to Subway, like, yes, can I get a turkey sandwich, but don't put no turkey on it. I just want mayo. And I'm like, what? That's an old school, like, that's a Poe-Hinton sandwich.
Yeah.
But we always influence the culture and everything from food to music to
Mhm.
fashion to art, whatever it is. That's what we do. And I think now we should get the proper credit for it as well.
Absolutely. Anything to add?
No. I think we started with rice, right? Then we started off with rice, I believe, and kind of like escalated from there. I know one of our culture chefs brought macaroni over. Was it macaroni casserole back then? Was it Henny's or Hercules? I think one of them started with the macaroni casserole, and that's how macaroni and cheese kind of started popping
Really?
off. But I believe our heritage and our culture was based around rice.
I just found out that we didn't invent fried chicken.
No, We did not.
I thought it was black folks. We just
No.
mastered
We
it.
mastered
We mastered it, but I think it was the Dutch or somebody. But the way I was doing like a history of fried chicken, right? I'm like, oh wow, that's interesting. But they didn't put no seasoning on it. Nothing. They just battered it, fried it in like a animal fat or whatever. We just said, all right, we're gonna put some extra
Put
seasoning
some
on it,
flavor.
and
Put
take it
some-
to the next level.
That
And,
splow on there.
Right.
Mhm.
So tell me about some culinary trends. I know you've been
yeah.
experimenting.
Oh
and
god. This year I feel like I've tried some crazy things like I said, I actually made a video of the onion burger or whatever. Using lately I just used ube. It's like a type of potato, sweet potato.
Okay.
So it's like it's essentially like a purple sweet potato,
Mhm.
but a lot of Asian um restaurants they use it to make ice cream and sweets with or whatever. So I just made some like these purple. I think Dice Pies does like a purple monster sweet potato. So I just did some purple
Oh yeah.
sweet potato spring rolls. I haven't made a video of it yet. I did make it. I just didn't post it yet. Actually, hold on. I got a whole list of things. So much not my trends, but just learning. Like food education is at a high as far as cooking.
Mhm.
Like it's so like it's you could just go to YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and you learn so much about it. About like simple stuff like peeling garlic, like
Shaking it in a mason
shaking it.
jar.
Yeah.
Soaking
Wow.
it
How long you been doing
underwater.
that?
I've been doing the shaking in the mason jar for a while. I just learned the tomato thing where you put the tomatoes between two lids.
Yeah,
and
you slice it.
and now you're done.
Really?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, the
That's something
tomato,
I just learned
the
how to do.
the garlic thing got me messed up. I said all these
Yeah.
Tell me,
years.
what's the
You
garlic
just-
thing?
You put garlic
A
with
clove,
the cloves
yeah.
in it.
Uh-huh.
You add a little water in it. Put it in a mason jar. You just shake it up like 30 seconds, a minute, and it peels off.
Yeah, you can do
What?
it dry too, just kind of like
Yeah.
shaking it. Yeah. It take a
Oh
little while.
yeah, I can't wait to go
Listen.
shake some garlic.
Yes. Then
Oh.
another thing with garlic too that I probably didn't do until like in the last years. A lot of recipes, a lot of ethnic rices or ethnic dishes. They all got garlic and onion as a base,
Yes.
Mhm.
right? But a lot of people don't put you're supposed to cook a little onion first, then add the garlic. A lot of times you do onion and garlic at the same time, but then the onion
No.
might burn.
Yeah. Or the garlic.
Or
the
the
garlic is
burn.
gonna
The garlic
burn.
is gonna burn. So like,
Mhm.
make sure you saute in the onion, then adding the garlic, and then whatever else. But I went around the world. I'm trying to make every ethnic rice I can. So I made some jollof rice, made some Thai basil fried rice, some Chinese rice, some chicken biryani, whatever, and all of them got a lot of Puerto Rican rice, Mexican rice.
Mm.
A lot of these rices got a lot of the same
Same.
origins, a
Yeah.
lot of the same bases or whatever.
Food in general has a whole
Yeah.
lot. You'd be surprised what you could do with the Holy Trinity and the bechamel. It's endless in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Tell us about some. We got Super Bowl coming up. We got Valentine's Day, date night ideas.
Mhm.
If they want to cook at home and have a romantic evening, what's a good and easy meal? And I want to talk about it this week to give people time to
Right.
prepare and plan. But yeah, even with Super Bowl snacks for those Super Bowl parties, I know All Star probably coming up. It's coming up
Yes.
too.
You
So
can- okay.
So I'm gonna go with the Super Bowl. I'll
Okay.
let you touch on the Valentine's Day because I feel like that's your realm, kind of maybe. I don't know, but the charcuterie. How you say it?
Charcuterie.
Charkeisha.
Charkeisha.
Charcuterie boards.
Charcuterie.
Are cool. But I'm like,
Charcuterie
yo,
boards.
like, why don't you do like a French fry charcuterie board with a
Mhm.
bunch of different fries? You got some garlic or a bunch of different potatoes.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like some roasted garlic potatoes, some sweet potatoes, some regular French fries, some just go crazy curly
Mhm.
fries, and
Mhm.
make a couple nice dips, and you can make that look good. I think that's a nice unique Super Bowl snack.
I
That's a
like
good
the
idea.
one they did with the Super Bowl situation where you cut the 12 case of soda and you kind of cut it and line it with some bacon paper, and then you just stuff in there different chips and stuff, and then right in the middle it's like a field goal of guacamole and
Oh,
nacho
wow.
cheese and stuff. Yeah, I think that's cool. a wing charcuterie board.
Ring charcuterie, hey,
Mhm.
spring roll,
Yeah,
charcuterie board.
right.
You know, you get some funky fresh
A whole
spring
bunch
rolls.
of dips in there.
Duh.
I'm all for some spreads like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I like unique spreads. The boards have really been transformed
Yeah.
and
Oh yeah.
chopped and screwed lately. Yeah, like a burger. I was gonna say like
Oh man. with all
burger
the
bar, all the
toppings, yeah.
toppings or
Yes.
something like that.
I think you know it'd be cool. I just thought about this like a top ramen bar. Just get-
Ooh.
you see-
That
or
would be
maybe not
That's
top
cool.
ramen, but you got like
Yeah, yeah.
ramen.
An elevated ramen bar.
Elevated
Elevated.
ramen. You got the noodles. You got a bunch of toppings you can put on it. I'm all for bars too. Let's do. You know, okay, nacho bars are cool, but let's make everything a bar. Burger
Yes.
bar, taco
Potato,
bar,
taco,
potato.
yeah, all the things.
Loaded baked
Pasta,
potato bar. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
For date night, you can definitely book us. We will come to your home and cook for you right in front of you. Also, if you're trying to do it yourself, I love the whole idea of sharing a pasta noodle. I've loved that since a kid. So definitely put
Does that
some
work,
pasta.
though?
Lady in this shit.
So
Have
I
you-
mean, it works if you're looking for something fun and quirky to do. I guess you just keep doing it till you can make out with the noodle, right? So you just- if it breaks, you your thing to keep trying.
Yes,
I
flavor
mean,
fix after that.
Um,
Sorry,
and
I'm
practice on
Flavor
ladies.
fix after dark.
I think just being in the kitchen together, learning, I think that awkward space of you over there, or he's messy in the kitchen, I clean as I go. I think Valentine or, all of these holidays are a great time to kind of be in there together and just love on each other in the kitchen. Fellas, stand behind your woman and massage the chicken, not the chicken because that gets messy. But, once it's clean and all the things and you battered it up, just kind of embracing one another. We actually taught a class on that last year, how to just co-mingle in the kitchen with one another. That's one of our greatest attributes, is being able to rock it out and not be in each other's space, but show each other some love in the space and stuff like that. So I think that's a great idea. As far as food goes, I think this is your time to be creative. Make a pizza. You'd be surprised how interesting or how much you learn about one another. Just put in ingredients. Does pineapple go on there? Does mac and cheese go on there? What do you put on your pizza? Making the crust together is something. It's like pottery with the crust, building it. And you learn how hard it is to do and how easy it can be also.
I like
You
that.
do
That's
like
beautiful.
Ghost. Remember the movie Ghost where he was doing the pottery together?
Yeah,
Mhm.
just get in the kitchen and
Yeah.
massage that food.
Put some music
and have
on.
some fun. Yeah.
So what's some
Have-
Make a
good
mess.
Valentine's Day food? I got a
That was my next
Stuffed
question.
Anything.
Really?
I
Stuff.
got a
anything
really
stuffed.
bad Valentine's Day story on here. Here we go.
Uh-oh.
All right. So I was 23. So if she listening, I won't say her name. That was a lifetime ago.
Drop names.
Man, I had this is like my first adult relationship. I'm like, I'm gonna make some steak and lobster.
Ooh.
Never made steak and lobster. I'm gonna do the whole candlelight, rose petals, and I think it was great. It looked beautiful and everything. But she had a rough day at work. And I think now, looking back at it, I probably could have been more patient, but she was just not feeling. She was just angry, and it was, who knows what was going through her mind, whatever. But I just felt like, dude, I just did all this hard work. I wore a nice shirt and everything, and it was just she had an attitude the whole time, and I was just like, dang, I felt like all this for nothing, whatever. But who knows what's going on in her life, or whatever. But I remember that's the first time on the Valentine's Day where I made something, and then that's when Truman the Villain was born. I've never done
Never
a
look
Valentine,
back.
never again. No, I will. Maybe.
For my parents too, I think Valentine, some of us can't get sitters. That's a great time too. And one time I got with the kids. My daughter was the maitre d'. My niece was a waitress. I had my nephew. He was in the kitchen battering up the chicken, having fun and all the things. And it was just super cool. My other niece was Madison playing the flute. She's doing the flute and stuff. And so I had the whole
down.
game. Yeah. And we just did something really nice for him and stuff like that. So get the kids involved in the kitchen as well. It's a great experience for them and you. So you're not, we can get in the dumps when we never get a break. And I just feel like, sometimes you got to include them in on what's
Right.
happening to feel better about your situation.
Mhm.
And as far as recipes go, you can do stuffed salmon, you can do your surf and turfs, you can do anything, pasta, you can create all the things, Tuscan everything. You can do Tuscan
Mhm.
chicken, Tuscan salmon. If you're plant-based, do a Tuscan vegetable mushroom situation. So
I did a Tuscan
Yeah.
chickpea last week. That was
Nice,
so good.
right?
Yeah.
Tap into your Indian side, the masalas, the tikkas, the coconut dishes, Thai, everything. Yeah, so explore a different culture for Valentine. I think would be fun too.
That's fun.
Yeah, I like the idea of doing like a little DoorDash race. Like you order some food, I order some food, see whose food get here
Right.
first. That'd be like
That is fun.
You know what I'm saying? Like we're order this one thing off of like a couple different, menus, whatever it's gonna cost you.
DoorDash phobia.
Really?
It freaks me out. The whole.
I wish I had a DoorDash phobia. I need to stop.
No, no shade towards DoorDash,
No shade.
but
I've had. I mean, we
that just
at Funky
freaks me
Fresh,
out.
we used to offer DoorDash until somebody ate somebody else spring rolls.
Right. I'm
Oh
like
my
that.
God.
I felt like thanks. Maybe I'm like
The
maybe I
horror
didn't wrap it up and
stories
staple
for
it tight
Uber
enough,
Eats
whatever.
and DoorDash.
Yeah, but shout out to who getting DoorDash. Somebody's getting DoorDash right now. Listen,
I'll
to this.
deliver
Absolutely.
some samosas. Just call me personally.
Call Chef
if
Campbell
They don't take them,
for your Valentine's needs.
For your
You got
Valentine.
availability that day?
I do not have availability for
What? Nobody's
Valentine's.
booked
We are so booked. No,
Oh, you
no,
booked?
Oh
no.
wait, you don't have
I do
availability.
not have
Oh, never mind. Do not
availability.
call her.
We are definitely booked until April. Do not forget that all the things are coming to Milwaukee this summer. So get your bookings in early. Anything
Absolutely.
after 2 weeks is a rush order. If you don't want those fees, get on
Can
your
I just say
planning
this?
needs.
A lot of people like don't know booking etiquette. Like
Yeah.
if you waiting a week before your event to start, 2 weeks, it's too late.
You're expecting to pay for someone to stop their entire life and everything they have planned. I think we haven't learned the proper etiquette as business owners because we're kind of like first time business owners and we're learning and all the things. But rush orders and all of those different things are in place because you're asking someone to stop their schedule. Like for us per se, we reach out to all of our purveyors and our vendors and things 2 weeks in advance. So if I have to call them a week ahead of time, they're charging me. So I have to turn around and charge you. And then if I can't make that happen, I'm trying to run to your Sam's, your Costco's, and all the different places to try to fulfill your order. So that's what you're paying for. So if you can plan ahead of time, it'll just make it lighter on your pockets.
This is something that's maybe off topic, but as food business owners, we have to have a better job of having boundaries and saying no sometimes.
Absolutely.
For me, I'm the king of like, I don't want to hurt nobody's feelings. I'm gonna just say yeah. You say yeah to some stuff, and then the job doesn't come out the way you expect it.
No,
it's gonna affect you. Nobody, the people at your event don't know they asked you to do this in 48 hours ago. They just expecting some food.
Right.
So like a lot of times we overcommit and under deliver. Like that's something I've learned too. Like we gotta just have boundaries and say no.
Can we put some parameters around? So like catering orders for, let's just say 50 plus, you said 2 weeks.
We start off at 50 here at Anomaly Catering. We don't do anything under 50 unless you're booking like a date night, which would be considered a personal service.
Okay.
So 1 to 24 people is $200 per person. Why? That's a personalized experience. I'm coming to you. It's the prep work. It's like being in a fine dining restaurant and having that experience at the tip of your fingers and whatnot. And then you get to see the luxury of 2 chefs in the kitchen and all the things. From there, we jump 50 to 100 people, and then that's a set price. And the reason why you have to book us in advance, again, is because I have to reach out to suppliers and vendors and make sure that I have all the things that I need to execute what it is that you're asking for. And then we go 100 on up. You do have... the more people you book, it does shrink in pricing. And the reason for that is because I can buy in bulk.
Right.
Why does it cost more to have a smaller amount of people? I can't go buy a fifth of flour 3.5 of
Mm-hmm.
butter, an eighth of oil, I
Yeah.
still have to buy the same amount of ingredients as if I was making it for 20 to 50 people. So
Mhm.
that's why we set our price at 50, because whatever I buy, I can make enough for 50. Because Anomaly Catering doesn't have menus, as said before, what am I going to do with all of those leftover ingredients? My next customer has a completely different menu.
Mm-hmm.
And that was something that we created in the pandemic to stay afloat. It worked for us. And so that's what we stick to.
So I have a question for you too. If someone has a last minute catering request for a meeting, that happens to me at work sometimes. I have like 1 or 2 days notice. Are there places people can go locally to either like get groceries and put something together, or are there places that you recommend that can have a quicker turnaround time for maybe a smaller group of people, or something like that? Because I always feel stressed out. Like I want to support local, but I don't want to be rude to my chef and caterer friends. What do y'all recommend?
I would say there's nothing wrong with winging a charcuterie board. You can go to your Sam's Club or something like that, grab a couple of different danishes, grab a couple of different cheeses and meats, and putting something pretty much together. That's kind of where your corporate comes in. They have majority of the time those things stockpiled already, so they can probably hurry up. But even with them, they want 24 to 48 hours. And also with them, 9 times out of 10, when you order with them, you have to pay for them right away. I don't know how come with small businesses, people are like, I'm going to wait net 30, net 45, net. I'm not a corporation. And yes, I do have some money in reserve for mistakes or emergencies. I don't have 200 weddings set aside. I can't allow you to pay for that after the fact. You have to, that's why we ask for these deposits. And also, I'm just a firm believer that I shouldn't be using my money to accommodate a need or request that you want. So to answer your question, I just would say you either have to shop around to different caterers that have that availability, or that's where you would go to your Paneras and stuff like that. They can usually accommodate those things.
Yeah, it's tough because, like you say, a corporation might want to support a small business, but then if you go to Panera, Qdoba, they accommodate. I think of maybe changing the focus of, all right, maybe it's not catering, maybe it's a large takeout order that you're getting now. Maybe you won't have the pans or whatever. It might just be a larger takeout order.
To go.
Most people could accommodate that, or they should be able to.
Go order.
Yeah. So that's what I would say. Like, somebody did a last minute order of Funky Fresh, say, well, we can just do a large takeout order. Let us know. We can still do it. They won't be cut in half, won't be looking nice, but people still get fed.
We're different. Our brand to us strives on presentation. We're big on what everything looks like in the aesthetics. And in the past, we've had places where we dropped off the aluminum pans and whatnot, and then we look around the venue and we're like, and so in that moment, I'm stopping what I'm doing. I'm running to try to make my food, because to me, how my food is laying on the table is a representation of my brand. So yes, we do offer to-go pans, but it's like in 1,000 black and white words that it doesn't come with this, that. But honestly, we kind of despise that. We'd rather full service everything at our company.
And I think that's interesting, like the difference between like us and Anomaly. She would have, her stuff is like art. It adds that elegance to an event. So I see like the food, when the food look good, it brings you could respect that. Like, it brings a certain amount of design to an event. Funky Fresh, that's not really our strong point. We just want to give you some good food in this like fast casual to go. But there's definitely space for all of us to exist as well.
Absolutely.
I like that. That's good information, especially for folks. There are always people looking for lunch caterers, meetings, events, and such. And so you got to give them the courtesy of advance proper notice so that they can plan and really put together a nice spread for you all. And we got about 20 minutes left. So I want to talk about ways First, no, I want to go into bucket lists for food and dining. Is there any destinations or anything that you want to do from a dining experience perspective? Like I've been thinking, I've seen like the dinner in the sky. Is that in like Dubai somewhere? Or a couple places might have it, but I want to experience that one day. What about you all?
Um, oh, chef's gonna get me.
Uh-oh.
I know I'm about to bust my own bubble. We're actually working on platoon dining for the summer. So we're in the process of working on our captain's license to try to offer a dining experience on a platoon in the water. So don't steal my stuff. That's what we're working on. We come to the park. We did the park thing where set up the picnic for you on the hill. All the different things for us personally. Like my husband proposed to me on Hollywood Boulevard and all the different things. So we'd really like to do a lot of more things in California. We're kind of like tiptoeing around there and working on licensing and all the things right now in San Diego. So we're trying to figure that out.
San Diego.
Hopefully we can do some kind of Milwaukee versus California situation going on soon or whatever.
Nice.
So yeah.
What about y'all?
Everywhere is on my list. Truly, I just love trying new food. My boyfriend is always watching like Bizarre Foods with Andrew Zimmerman and Anthony Bourdain, and they're always eating some crazy stuff.
Yeah,
not all of it I would eat. I don't know about like raw brains and things like that. That might be my limit.
That's different.
Protein.
Yes, bugs. I mean, we are really going to start to see lots of insects, I think, in our food supply over the next 50 years as a source of protein. But yeah, I don't know, country, maybe Tokyo, Tokyo and some other places in Japan, I think is high on my list.
Traveling.
Yes.
You know, that's something I haven't really thought about. I haven't thought about like for a bucket list for food. Like the first thing I think of, like, you know, we call our crew, our customer base Funky Fresh Nation. There's a couple like celebrities that I want to get into Funky Fresh Nation. Like I definitely want to feed Beyonce. Like I think who wouldn't? Jay-Z, The Rock, you know. I like the idea of like a straight wilderness, like this may be a little extreme, but I'm just like out in the woods and I gotta survive with whatever's out there. You gotta hunting, fishing, you know, gathering. I kind of want to do something like that. It would be cool for a couple of days just to be out and see what our ancestors had to get through, you know, and you know, that's not nothing that's on the list that it's gonna happen in the next few years, but that would be cool to do for me.
Right.
Definitely, I'm gonna go to Africa too. That's anything. I'm gonna go to Africa and try, you know, everything.
Yeah.
You know, and see our people's. I've been working with Emmy's African Cuisine lately.
I've been seeing that. Yeah.
Helping her out or whatever, and she just took her crew, all her employees. They went to Africa for a month just to recharge.
Wow.
And I'm doing like a campaign because she wants to get her products into grocery stores too. So we're gonna be launching a campaign soon. So be on the lookout for that. So I'm working on the video for that, and she was just like, I'm looking through all these videos of all the places they eat, and it's like, man, they had the best time ever. And I was like, where's the best food that y'all ate there? She was like, at people's house. Yeah. Like
I hear
from literally from the people in the communities was the best food. Like,
oh yeah.
So I want to make that trip one of these years. Emmy, if you got extra plane ticket for me, no. But that I would say that's probably.
To add to that, I was in Jamaica a couple years ago now, and we had an Airbnb, a villa, and the host was also the cook, and she cooked a meal for us the last night we were there. And I mean, it was just phenomenal. Just that home cook, that love. It was the best meal we had there. But so to that point, it's like it's really what they're cooking in their homes. That's really, really good.
I want to do that. I've never been on a real vacation. Never been on nobody's beach.
Really?
Never in my life. I want to go to some all exclusive something. Last time I went out of town, I was in Racine. I need to go far. I need to get out of here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Debo laughing.
We
at
need
you.
a chef excursion.
Uh-huh. That'll be fun.
Yeah.
So we're coming up to the end of the show, and I always like to ask just a couple fun food related questions. So if you had to, if your favorite dish had to be a theme song, what would that be? What would it be?
What would the dish be, or what would the song be?
The song.
All right, let me go through my playlist and see. I feel like I got
While y'all think about that one,
My
there's
favorite
an easier question. What's the weirdest food combination you've ever had?
I like jalapenos and strawberry ice cream with kosher salt.
Oh my.
That sounds good. That sounds like
That's
a strawberry
different.
margarita.
I wanna try-
like a spicy strawberry margarita. Yes.
I want to try
Put
that.
some tequila in there and a milk, like make it a milkshake.
Hmm.
Combination.
Weirdest food combinations.
Mm.
That's a good question.
What you got? Oh, you put barbecue sauce on everything?
I put avocado on everything. I would. do
I
that.
put avocado on a lot.
I just seen somebody like this going around with ice cream, olive oil, and sea salt.
Ice cream,
oil.
olive oil, and sea salt.
People like it's
That robust taste of olive oil on ice cream is
What about so I've been doing this watermelon. I've been taking a watermelon and like
Mhm.
seasoning it like with soy sauce, sesame
think I saw that.
oil.
it's actually
Chili flake.
delicious. Have you ever barbecued one?
Yes,
It's phenomenal.
I was like, what?
Yes.
You wouldn't
Yes.
think it.
Yes,
You could grill
barbecue
it.
watermelon is
You could bake it.
fire.
You would
Yes.
not think it's this good.
Mm.
Like
Yeah.
so that I would say that, and I use that. It get the texture of like tuna, like raw tuna almost. So I put that on some rice with some edamame, a little jalapenos, avocado.
Mm-hmm.
Make it like a little poke bowl out of
I
the
can
watermelon.
eat watermelon, everything. I can not drink watermelon. I don't like watermelon flavored anything, but I
Mm-mm.
love watermelon.
That's interesting.
I'm allergic to melon, all melons.
Dang.
Theme song.
Yes.
Think of anything over
Y'all
there?
probably gonna hear a new allergy every show.
You have a lot of
What's that
allergies.
golden
I
I
do.
would say
song?
my song would be "What More Can I Say?"
What more can
Jay Z to describe my favorite dish. He said to describe your favorite dish.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and then my
Ooh,
favorite
oh,
dish
okay.
would probably that's like picking which one of your kids you like the most.
Oh, right? I'm like,
You know, I'm really, and I came in this. I knew this was gonna be a question, so I was thinking about this. I was thinking about the turkey burgers. I could eat the turkey burgers every day. I say, all right, my favorite dish right now is probably shrimp and grits. I was doing this.
Really?
I was doing this shrimp and grits little documentary.
Mhm.
I haven't finished it. I got so many unfinished projects. I need to get my life together. But I had a friend. She passed away a few years ago named Tanya Mantia, and I had her shrimp and grits in 2015 for the first time. That was the first time I ever had shrimp and grits, and they were just amazing, savory, creamy, everything you want, cheesy. And she passed away in 2021,
Mm.
and like literally, like she knew she was passing away, and she knew how much I love this dish. I would go to like the grocery store with her, and we'll, that was just like my foodie friend. And like maybe a month before she passed, she was like, you got to get this recipe right. You got to get it. And she like literally like passed from cancer. She like gave me the recipe.
Aw.
So right now the shrimp and grits is probably number one for me. In honor of my good friend.
Nice. Did you think of something yet?
No, I don't have I love pasta, but I love a tostada. They are
Mhm.
yeah, I could eat them simultaneously, but I would say I probably do more Latino cuisines than anything. So I don't really have like a favorite food, but more like I love Mexican food, Puerto
Me too.
Rican food,
Mhm.
Latino
Mhm.
cuisine. Like, yeah.
Y'all can't
But-
see her. She's about to cry, y'all. It's such a
my
tough question.
God. But pasta
They
is
can
like
see.
everything. Like pasta is my joy. For me, pasta is more like a a husband and wife thing, in the kitchen, a touch, a feel, the love. That's pasta. And tacos and tostadas and stuff is more like me and my girls, and fajitas and margaritas. And so I just, I don't have.
You know what's crazy? You might hate me for this, but if I never ate pasta again in my life, I'm like,
God,
all right.
You're not gonna miss it.
What do you mean? I cake too. I can't if I never had another piece of cake in my life.
Yeah, I don't.
I would be all right.
I'm sick of cake.
But I couldn't
Stop
have
having
another
cakes at
potato in my
birthday
life. Just put the potato in the barrel.
What about midnight snack? Favorite midnight snack?
Ooh,
watermelon, pineapple.
More watermelon, pineapple. I love pineapple. I eat pineapple almost daily.
Oh my God, what are they called?
Ritz crackers.
Vines. I love Twizzlers and red vines. Red vines more than Twizzlers, but Twizzlers and red vines, and some M&Ms with peanuts.
I eat some straight hummus right out the right from a
this
spoon.
Healthy stuff in the middle of the night. Oh my God.
That's what if you're gonna eat, you need to be healthy.
You do need to be. No.
Yeah.
I'll do a good bowl of cereal too every now and then.
Yeah.
Bowl of cereal.
Bowl of cereal.
What kind of cereal?
See, everybody finna laugh at me.
You better not say what I think you're gonna say.
I'm gonna say the honey roasted
Cheerios.
honey bunches of oats.
Oh, okay.
Mine's is crackling oat brand. I love crackling oat brand.
They're gonna say grape nuts. I was gonna walk out.
I
was gonna walk out.
Well, this has been so fun, you guys.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining me.
Thanks for having us.
All right, Flavor Fix. We'll see you back here, WNOV 860 FM. AM 106.5 FM, The Voice, next Monday at 5.